computer. All right, party people, what's popping? It's been a minute. You know the Pundits is back. You know what it is. It's your man, Professor Nims. I'm signing on with your boy, Casual Rand.
What up, though?
Coach Dave. Boston Jared.
Peace. What up?
And you know us as the Pundits of pugilism, and we represent Pop Talk. We've been out for a minute, traveling the world, doing some other things, but we got some titillating boxing news that we got to get into for this weekend. So we're going to start off by talking about the match this weekend. This is that super welterweight, junior, middleweight, however you want to call it, 154 pounds. It is for the belt. This is your man, Tszyu, who is taking on Sebastian Fundora. And this is for the WBO World Junior Middleweight Championship, and also for the vacant WBC.
Right, we forgot. Good catch, Cam.
We missed that
pre-pro. There is a 2-belt unification.
This is a unification bout.
Not unprecedented, though, right? Not unprecedented. Remember the WBC did this shit with Canelo Callum Smith.
They did.
They just threw this. Hey, fuck it. Why not?
And we want to give props, because this is one of the rare occasions where an injury to a boxer has actually upgraded the event, right? We want to say that because, let's be honest, Keith Thurman did not in any way possible earn a title fight against Tszyu at 154 pounds or whatnot.
Well, it wasn't a title fight. Remember, it wasn't when Keith was fighting.
That's right.
It wasn't even. It wasn't.
This has been upgraded on so many levels. Yeah. And there was the podcast recently by Sean Porter, who had talked about since their fight, which happened maybe about 7 years ago, that Keith Thurman had only had 4 fights since then. And his last fight, does anybody remember? I mean, it's hard to, but do you remember his last fight?
Thurman's last fight was against Barrios, right?
Barrios, who fought not too long ago.
He retired Ulgas, right?
Yes, but he fought your boy Tank Davis at 140 pounds, like not too long ago.
Yeah.
So, and this is but we want to give credit that this is actually an upgrade for the fight. And this is something that we are looking forward to. This is part of a bigger call that is this is Amazon Prime's first foray into boxing. This is the pay-per-view event. So there's a lot of kind of big news going on, but let's start off with my man Boston Jared. Kind of give us your impressions about this fight, and then how do you see this playing out in the squared circle?
Everything that you kind of led off with. This went from a fight that I had zero interest in at all to a fight that I have a bunch of interest. And the one thing you left out was that was the Crawford nexus to this, right? Because Crawford, I believe the WBO has ordered the winner of this fight has 5 days to negotiate with Terrence Crawford. So that ups the ante even more, because Terrence Crawford wasn't even part of the equation when it was Keith Thurman and Tszyu. So just like you said, man, Keith Thurman, the boxing gods came down, part of the clouds, came down from the heavens and smited Keith Thurman. And they were, this is actually turning into, like you said, a very, very significant and intriguing fight. So yeah, I'm much more interested. So that's for your first question. The second question, look, a huge opportunity to Fundora, right? Who's coming off of a knockout loss to Brian Mendoza, right? Boxing being what it is, and promotional companies being isolated to specific networks. In a perfect world, there's no way that Sebastian Fundora, coming off of a knockout loss, is right back in the ring for not just a 1 belt, but for a 2 belt unification. So Sebastian Fundora can thank whatever gods he prays to that he has this opportunity. Unfortunately for Fundora, I don't think that this shit is going to go in any way. This is not going to end well for him. I don't. He's a guy that he's a guy who's in the sport for a good time, not a long time. That style of his, shrinking down to that weight, I do not think is optimal for him. And I not devolving, that's the wrong word, but ending up in a fight where exchanges are going to determine the outcome. And I think Tszyu, being the more technical, more disciplined guy, I think he gets the better of the exchanges early and often in this fight. And I see him getting Fundora out of there somewhere in the last quarter of the fight, somewhere between rounds 7 and 9. I think he gets Fundora out of there.
Yeah, and I agree. And just for those who don't know about Sebastian Fundora, so he is 6'5.5", basically like 6 feet. I mean 6'6", I should say. Fighting at 154 pounds, which is unprecedented. I've a six. This is usually, this would be tall for a heavyweight. So this is somebody who is fighting at junior middleweight, and he was making quite a run during that. Unfortunately, his last fight was his only loss when he was knocked out by Brian Mendoza in the 8th round, in a fight that I believe that he was winning, and was caught by a vicious left hook. One of the things about Fundora is even though he is tall and long and rangy, he does not fight like that at all. This guy loves to fight on the inside. He has vicious uppercuts and hooks, which you will see if you watch his fight with Erickson Lubin, which he actually totally rearranged his face during that bout. But I just don't think that style will bode well for him against somebody as strong, and, as I think Boston correctly pointed out, a little bit more technically superior in Tszyu. But
bringing a lot of momentum, right? Bringing a lot of forward momentum into this fight, man. Tszyu is on a hot streak. I know he went the full 12 with Mendoza, but Fundora can't say the same thing for his performance with Mendoza. The other thing that I wanted to point out about Fundora that I didn't, Fundora has had some suspect outings, and giving the reason, boxing is very, very much a "what have you done for me lately" type of sport. And in that, sometimes I think that we as boxing fans, even the hardcore guys like us, sometimes we forget about the history, the prior fights that some of these fighters have had. That Jamonte Clark fight, I thought Jamonte Clark won that fight against Fundora. I didn't think that fight was particularly close. The other fight I thought Fundora lost was the fight against Sergio Garcia. I thought Sergio Garcia took it to Fundora, and that fight shouldn't have been close either. So, Fundora has been on the receiving end of some very, very, very gracious decisions. He's gotten some gift decisions in his past. Same cannot be said for Tszyu. Tszyu's been going in there and clearly beating guys. I can't think of a fight that he's been in that's been particularly close or competitive.
Not at all.
So
and he's not somebody who's been resting on his laurels and just kind of fighting off of his father's name. He's definitely established. But I will say, so Coach Dave, you out of the pundits, you've probably been one of the bigger fans of Fundora, somebody that you kind of given him some credit. So how do you see this fight, and then how do you think that he looks going into the biggest challenge of his fighting career?
Yeah, so no, make no mistake about it. Yeah, I'm a fan of him, but I'm gonna have to agree with Boston on this one. I think he going night night. I'm gonna say the eighth round. He going night night. You know, maybe even the seventh, but I'm gonna lock in on it on the. Now let me lock in on the seventh round, man. Let me lock in on the seventh round. So, but look, man, I'll be honest with you. I'm pumped up about this fight, man. I'm pumped up about this fight, though, because look, bro, it ain't gonna be no space between in this fight. You ain't gonna see no jabs. You know what I'm saying? These jokers just gonna be trying to slap slob and taste buds out of each other's mouth. It's gonna be a good fight. I think both of them got some dog in them. Be honest with you, you know. Now, if I'm putting money on it, I'm going with the skill set, like what Boston said, and I would put the money on Tszyu to stop him. That's where I would go. But I'm gonna say it literally it might not be 50-50, but it ain't no big long gap in terms of 70%, 30, where Tszyu just gonna reign it over. So let me just give you this real quick. I mean, look, you saw, if you guys did not watch Tszyu when he fought Tony Harris, he stopped Tony Harris, but you can, and we'll get into why Crawford gonna destroy both of these jokers. But for this particular fight, Tszyu, not a lot of jabs. Man, he's so square up. And him being a shorter fighter, and he's so squared up, even when he's on the inside, feet square, And a while back, I told you, I was like, man, I don't know if I really like his inside game. It wasn't that he doesn't punch hard. I'm looking at the technique as an inside fighter. You go back and watch that fight where he fought Tony Harrison. He squared up, man. And with him being a shorter fighter and Fundora being so tall, and he liking those uppercuts, Fundora don't have to necessarily bend down so low to catch that uppercut that come between that high guard that Tszyu still has when he's on that inside. His earmuffs are not on too tight. I don't care what you guys say about this guy. Yes, he likes to fight on the inside. Yes, he punch hard, but I'm talking about his technique that's gonna make this fight very, very interesting. I think Tszyu gonna break this tall, lanky joker down. I think he's gonna break him down with those liver shots, which is gonna cause Fundora to kind of bend over, making that number 7. And then I think you're gonna see a devastating uppercut come, man, that's gonna push that joker's chin up to his forehead. And I think Fundora gonna go to sleep, bro. That's what I'm saying. So it's gonna be a great fight, man. I am not going to miss this fight, bro.
I did. All right, and we'll take it to the casual one. So one thing is it's interesting you said that, because for a lot of fight fans, because you've astutely kind of pointed out just some little small things that are like, right, only a coach would kind of pick out about Tim Tszyu's performance. But for a lot of fans, not just casual fans, but a lot of ones, like for us, like the Tony Harrison fight was the one where we were just kind of like, oh, Tim Tszyu is actually a legit fighter. A lot of us kind of picked that Tony Harrison fight as where we would see Tim Tszyu get exposed. And I think that a lot of it had to do with Tony Harrison's performance against Charlo, what I'm saying, in that bout. Well,
Sergio Garcia also, he fought a very, very good fight against, looked like his old self, post his father passing away, looked very, very sharp against a guy in Sergio Garcia, who again, I thought had beat Fundora. So it wasn't not as far back as the Charlo fight. It was that Sergio Garcia fight where he looked really, really good.
Hey, and one other thing to your point, though, Cam, listen, man, y'all got to always remember, too, now, a fighter can get exposed and still win the fight. So you got to think of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. So exposure is not necessarily, defeat. Exposure is like, what is something that could be detrimental to this cat? So you already saw that jab was bothering Tszyu like
Yeah.
crazy. And Harrison stood right there in front of this guy. You get and Harrison didn't even throw the right hand a whole lot. So you get somebody that can come off that jab with a right hand and he's moving. Tszyu gonna have some problems, bro. So that's why I'm saying we'll get into it if we talk about Crawford, but that's all I'm saying. So I think he was significantly exposed, but it has no bearing in this delicious fight that's coming up between him
Oh
and
no,
Fundora.
absolutely. I think that you were, and that's why I said that you were astute and kind of pointed, because a lot of people just kind of look into the victory and the fashion of the victory, but you as a coach, like you're looking at all those aspects, like, well, you know what? If you actually kind of break this takedown, you know, round by round and instance by instance, you can find those kinks in the armor. But and to me, that's why I said, that's why I was like, I appreciate that perspective, because to me, I was just kind of thinking about Tony Harrison kind of outboxing him in a sense or whatnot, which he did in some segments. But I think that for you, if you were going to break down a fighter and devise a plan to beat Tszyu, you have to be able to kind of take those little nuggets of victory that they had. But passing it on to the casual Rand. So what do you think about this? Do you think that this, for the average fan, do you think that this is an upgrade? Because I was talking to Fuji, your favorite fight fan, today, and he said that he felt that this fight was upgraded from a kind of a fight fan who was investing into the sport, but for somebody who is a casual fan who just goes off of name recognition, he might necessarily agree. He thought that Keith Thurman was a name that kind of resonated more broadly with the public.
It does. Actually, it does. Like, to me, like, I mean, I follow this comparison. It's gonna sound crazy.
No,
Keith Thurman is almost like the Colin Kaepernick in football. Not for the stances or something, but you know, when Colin Kaepernick, after he was blackballed, and they was like, maybe this year, maybe this year, maybe this year, and like for the last 10 years, he's been a name. Just like Keith Thurman, he hasn't fought, but every year it's like Keith Thurman, maybe Keith Thurman, maybe Keith Thurman, maybe Keith Thurman. So that's it's name recognition. And until somebody like Keith Thurman steps up and then get demolished, he's up for the next. I say he still got 2 more years where he was like you know how you double dutch and you like right before you jump in the double dutch. That's what Keith Thurman doing to these people. But I wanted to start off and say, man, it's funny how a year changes the dynamics in boxing, man. So last year, this time, both Fundora and Tszyu were the young lions, both nipping at the bits at Charlo.
Yeah.
And now a year later, you know what I'm saying? Fundora's a wounded lion, but Tszyu, man, hey, and I'm the first to tell you, you go back a year ago, man, you listen to our tapes, I was like, man, bump that Aussie. You know what I'm saying? But he did in Mendoza. I did not believe that he was going to do that to Harrison. But to go back to what y'all was saying, I think Harrison didn't invest in that jab strong enough. I think he just toyed that shit out and fucking Tszyu just walked through it and busted his ass up. So I say that Fundora is an unlucky lottery winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, he won this lottery. He fighting for 2 belts, but that shit ain't fun. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't going to end out well. And my thing is, if he would have sat this out, he could have took the WBC route and had a rematch with Mendoza for a belt, or like finally be like call out Charlo for his belt.
Well, I don't know. You know what? It's funny you say that, Randy, because there was definitely some gamesmanship involved in why the WBC jumped into this. Let me pull up the rankings right now, and I bet you
He's number 3 in the
yeah,
WBC.
he was number 3, but so I don't know what is Charles Conwell. So Charles Conwell has been the number 1 in the WBC for I don't know how long. Conwell recently signed with Golden Boy. I don't know. What you're saying, Randy, you could be right, but Conwell's the
Even if
one.
he would have, even if he would have set that out, though, I think that WBC would be a easier route to a belt than going against Tszyu at this point.
Yeah, maybe. The boxing scene rankings must be. I don't know what's going on with these. They still have Brian Mendoza and Jamel Charlo, so these have not been updated.
Yeah.
Charlo has been stripped, right? So boxing scene
is WBC vacant?
Yeah, that's what the
Yeah.
WBC is up for grabs in this
It's up for
fight.
grabs. Yeah, it has to be
Oh.
vacant. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So
WBA, IBF, and WBC are all vacant?
yeah, WBA is vacant, IBF is vacant, and WBC is vacant. Yep. Israel Madrimov is the number 1 in the WBA. Bakram Mortazaliev is the
is
number 1 in the
Charlo a
IBF.
champion in recess, or are they just straight stripped?
That's a good question. I'm almost certain that they stripped Charlo though.
Yeah,
But I
think
do not know for certain. So Fundora was supposed to fight this guy Sergey Bohachuk, if I'm not mistaken, right? That was the fight that was supposed to be on the co-main for Thurman and the Tszyu. Bohachuk was the name that I kept hearing today on the Boxing Voice. So I assume Bohachuk, who's the number 2, was supposed to fight Fundora, but I'm not sure. I wanted to ask Dave a question though. Actually, Dave, if you got a guy like Fundora who's coming off of a knockout loss, he got hit. I mean, he got hit twice, really, really, really hard. Do you jump at this opportunity to take at this 2 belts, or do you say, whoa, hold up, we're coming off of a knockout loss?
Yeah, without no warm up, like no.
Right. Now, obviously, there was definitely some pressure, given that this is the kicking off fight for PBC on Amazon. So I'm sure there was definitely some pressure from the decision makers, from the guys that write the check. But this, assuming that, and Dave, you as a trainer, do you take this chance, or do you say, now let's pump the brakes and let's work our way back up off the knockout loss?
I do want to just say, I mean, this was last April he's had plenty of time as far as physically to be able to kind of recover from the knockout.
But no rounds though, no rounds boxed.
Yeah, he has no rounds, which I was kind of shocked to see that he hasn't got in but
for a guy who has over the years has been very, very active. I mean, one of the few guys on PBC who has been a 3 fights a year, 4 fights a year type of guy. So,
but then, like you said, though, for this Amazon kickoff, if it wasn't for Fundora, then who? You go.
They would have had to flush this thing. This would have been a disaster. This would have been a fucking disaster. But yeah, I still want to see what Dave.
Yeah, Coach. Yeah, go ahead.
So again, so let me give you what I definitely probably would have done. Like if Fundora was with me, if Fundora, felt cool with it, I probably still would have took the fight. Now you're right though, Jared. Let me be crystal clear. Make no mistake about it. You're right in terms of saying, hey, I would have gotten right back off the horse, right back on the horse, but with something that could have, either built the confidence up, or could we have worked on what it was that got me knocked slam out. But this opportunity, man, I mean, this is a hard opportunity to give up. And it's like you said, man, the boxing guys just kind of smiled on it. So you kind of, sometimes you kind of gotta get it, when you can get it. So I probably would have took the fight because I would have had a whole lot of time. Why did Fundora get knocked out? Hey, listen, man, we know you like to bang, but guess what? Think about that fight, bro. You got no lateral movements in your fight whatsoever. You just got punch, 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 block. So and even though we didn't have any rounds in the ring, this cat would have had some incredible sparring. And sometimes, you guys can't, just don't forget about the experience and the ring, time in the ring that sparring can give you. So I would have taken the fight absolutely. But during the time that he was knocked out and back in the gym, when we was back in the lab, if you wish to fight on the inside, ain't nothing I can do about it. Fundora said he's gonna fight on the inside. He's not gonna learn to use his jab. So I would take the way that he's wanting to fight, man. I would have had him doing those punches, but this long, lanky joker would be understanding some angles and moving, and that's why I would have taken the fight, especially if I saw him executing what we've been learning in his sparring session. I'd have shown up, jumped on it, because you just can't miss that opportunity, man.
But
Right.
to me though,
Go ahead.
what lost pretty much like in his career, like back-to-back knockouts.
No.
Oh, man, look at
Come
this,
on,
man.
I mean, but he's gonna drop so far.
No, he won't. He didn't drop far at all after he got knocked out against Brian
That
Mendoza.
one that by a champion. All right, but 2 back-to-back. How far is that gonna put him?
I don't know. I mean, look at the rest of these guys in this rankings. I mean, you got Erickson Lubin at 5. You got Jesus Ramos at 4. This guy Bohachuk is at 2. Charles Conwell has been, again, the number 1 for at least 18 months or 2 years. Then you get to Virgil Ortiz at 6.
Hey, Dave.
Fundora is still going to be in the mix here. You got
Dave.
Zayas creeping up at 10. Josh Kelly at 9. No,
Dave, so,
he's still in the mix.
how do you think your boy Zayas holds up against Tszyu?
Right now?
Right, I guess that's what he's saying right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
be right now. He ranked number 3 in WBO.
Yeah, man, look, I love him, bro, but not yet, bro. I'll be cold honest. Y'all ain't no fan. I'm be cold honest.
You think he beats Lubin? Because and Lubin,
Who's
Zayas and Lubin.
I'd rather have him fight Lubin than to fight Tszyu, bro.
Than to fight Tszyu. Wow.
I'd rather,
okay.
I would too.
Guy who I picked a long time ago. I'd rather have him fight Eric Lubin than Tszyu.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, bro. Nope. Not Tszyu. Nope.
This division 18 months ago, 2 years ago, was like the hottest division in the sport. And these motherfuckers just ate each other alive. Like there is no one left. All the guys that the Laras, the Herds, the Castaños, the J-Rocks, the Gachets, the Jamonte Clarks, all those guys are just gone. They're not even in the rank. I mean, Gachet is still around. Vito Melanicki, but like all those guys, Tony Harrison, Charlo, these guys are just gone off the face of the earth, man.
Both those,
it's
from
crazy.
154 go up to 160. It's like you say, it's shaky, bro. Yeah. I say 154, 160 now is shaky.
60's even worse. I mean, 60 is really bad.
Are you saying that Jamel done at 154?
I think Jamel's done in boxing, honestly.
How?
I think this guy's done. I mean, off of a $15 million, $12 million payday against Canelo, who is he gonna fight to even come close to that kind of money? It's tough. It's tough to go in there and make that kind of money and then go in there and fight who at 154 and fight Sergey Bohachuk or Israel.
Hold on. like if he dust off them gloves, a Charlo Crawford do over 10.
Why would Bud fight Charlo at this
Yeah.
point?
Why?
Because I mean, but he was 154 undisputed. You know what I'm saying? And nobody
But
clear
why?
as a
I mean,
there
the
you
only
go.
reason he got stripped by technicalities, nobody beat him. He still
But
was the champ.
Why? That's the thing.
yeah, but
I don't see.
Yeah, like Crawford is chasing Canelo and things of that nature. So
yeah, he's chasing money and legacy, and I think emphasis on money.
And he's
Charlo's been on pay-per-view twice now and hasn't done anything of note. I mean, he's got no belts. Like, that shit came and went. That would have been a dope fight. I'm with you, Randy. I mean, when Charlo was undisputed, like right after that Errol Spence fight, that's a dope fight to make. That's a huge fight to make.
But money wise, the Crawford fight, I mean, the Canelo fight was a better. I mean, was
It's just like you let off your segment with a year. How much difference a motherfucking year makes in the sport in the sport of boxing. This guy Charlo went from being arguably a top 5 pound for pound guy to a nobody in the sport.
ooh,
And there's nobody.
I mean,
there's nothing. He's on nobody's radar. Nothing.
And you could tell that Charlo knew it was gonna get that ugly because he even got desperate after getting lumped up. Gonna sit there, I'll fight Crawford. I'll fight, man.
Yeah, right now he'll fight Crawford, right? Before he was busy. He was busy.
Hey,
I'm busy. Right? Yeah. Now he'll fight Crawford, man. What a clown. But okay. So we're running a little bit long on this segment here. How do we think? So we talked about Crawford being next up for the winner, right? How do we like Crawford's chances against Fundora and Tszyu?
He stops both of them.
You think he stops? You think he stops both of them, huh?
I got nothing to say. Y'all can go ahead.
I don't. I think that
I
kind
can't
of like a
go against Bud,
conversation, but I think that Bud is clearly the superior fighter when it comes.
We've never seen Bud. Look, guys, I've been as high on Bud as anybody, but I'm not. I'm emotionally divested from all these guys. You're talking about a guy who's never ever fought in the division against a guy in Tszyu who will probably finish his career at 168.
Yeah,
and Fundora, who is a big guy, if nothing else. I mean, 6'6". He's rehydrating. He's putting on plenty of weight. I get it. Not the most skilled. Doesn't blow you away with any of his skills, but he's got a lot of size and he's proven at 154 pounds. Bud is a guy that started at 135 pounds. Are we not suffering from a little bit of recency bias here? Do we think that Bud just blows through these guys, Tszyu and Fundora?
Number one, you
pay bills.
You doubting the guy's strength. Even when he fought daggone Earl,
that guy is strong.
Earl Spence. I'm telling everybody, y'all don't understand the strength of this man, and he moving Earl like Earl weighed 118 pounds. This man is strong. This man is technical. This man is precise. He will systematically dismantle both of those fight games. This Tszyu cannot come at Crawford squared up and with this high guard and being so scared of even a jab that an old ass Tony Harrison throw. And Crawford is going to be coming with both a right hand and a left hand. He's a switch hitter. He's going to pick this man apart. Fundora, Crawford just going to cover up and bang your body out, man. And his guy is a mover, bro. The angles that this guy goes. So it ain't about this guy's size. I just think you just can't take away from this guy's skill, what people keep on doing. That's my
Let me ask you this, Dave. Let me ask you this, because I agree with everything you said, but the one thing you left out and the thing that a lot of people leave out when it comes to Crawford are two things. One, his durability. Two, his ability to make guys miss. And that, to me, with Crawford is the big thing that separates Crawford from guys like Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, the ability to make guys miss,
Well,
But that's
I don't
saying
know
the
that
ability
Crawford
or
has
or
demonstrated the ability
the
to
lack of
make guys
ability?
miss. You
Are
said
you,
what,
are
Tim?
you saying the ability or the lack of ability to make guys
The
miss?
lack of ability. I don't think Crawford has the make guys miss.
Okay, yeah,
He's
I was sitting
good
there like, wait a
technically.
minute, I don't think he the slickest.
Yeah, right. Look, we've seen him catch and block. He's very, very, very disciplined. He can be. We show that against Spence. I don't know that this guy has the ability to make guys miss and make guys pay for missing, which is also odd for a guy that seems to be a natural counterpuncher.
you no, bro. You try no, man. You no. Okay, what I do is this. I'll give you this. I'm gonna go back and watch some of these fights, but you're gonna have to show me where he was clocked and hit hard to a point to where it's a fact. Because when you say can't
Yeah,
make,
Kavalauskas.
you're gonna have to.
Kavalauskas dropped him.
Bro, I'm not, bro.
Yeah, boy, rocked him.
He gets hit,
Those are,
Dave.
but I mean, but these are like instances throughout his whole career, and I can
But
name.
at the same time, he ain't
I can
had
name.
stellar,
I
you
can
know what I'm
name a
saying?
lot of
If you take
instances where
Spence
Floyd
and
was
few of them
caught
out, it's not like he
with
had
punches.
stellar opponents that would actually test his acumen.
Right. And all those guys that caught Floyd, and I'll be willing to bet they were better than the guys that, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Look, yes, it's boxing. Everybody does get hit. And that's not something that's insignificant. That's not something that you're right. You're right. Everybody gets hit. But again, to jump to that conclusion, it's almost like we're being dismissive of these guys who have shown improved at higher weight classes. Yes, Crawford is a pound for pound guy with a pound for pound skill set, but the big chink in his armor, and I've been consistent with this, is his durability, in my opinion, and his ability to make guys miss.
All right.
So what I don't get though, what's getting me, bro, is like you and I both sat here on this podcast. You and I were the primary two talking about how Crawford was going to destroy Spence.
Yeah.
And so what I'm getting at is like a prime Spence or whatever. Like what does Tszyu or
They both beat Spence. I would pick Fundora and Tszyu to beat Spence.
You picked Fundora to beat Spence?
I would have picked. Look,
I don't know what.
I'm being consistent with. I've never been that high on Spence.
We can no longer go this long without having a pop talk because I don't know what.
Yeah.
What,
I know.
I don't know what's going on.
With that said, like
Yeah.
Coach, I'm gonna give you the last word, but let's go ahead and wrap up this segment because we got too much segments to kind of come into. We got a little long with this one.
Yeah. I'll just say now I owe Boston that, man. I'm gonna go back and take a look at a couple of fights, man. You maybe can text me and tell me which ones to look at, and I'll honestly look at them, bro. Then get back with you. So I'll kind of hold my tongue now, then, Professor.
Yes, look, I'm with you, Dave. Terrence Crawford will be the favorite in either one of those fights. I'm just telling you, coming at this thing objectively, Crawford is a guy who historically has did with his legs and with his gloves and with his arms. He's not a guy who defends by changing levels and moving his upper body. And when you're going in there against those bigger guys, you have got to be able to make them miss. You can't let Tszyu bang away at your elbows and your arms and your gloves and carrying around that extra weight. I don't know that he can move as much on his feet. We see it historically. Guys move up, they become more and more flat-footed. And I just don't know that Crawford, again, and catch and block and move against guys like Tszyu and Fundora over the course of 12 rounds. He can't. I just don't know that he can do it. I could be wrong. I just don't know that he can do it.
All right.
All right.